are ready, kids?
Aye, aye, Captain!
I can't hear you.
Aye, aye, Captain!
Oh, who lives in a pineapple under the sea?
Mr. Cepeda! Good afternoon, first grade. I do apologize for those technical difficulties. I'm sorry that I had to cancel the class, but I am making this video to get back to you to show you exactly what we were going to do today, and hopefully you're able to complete your work with this video. So let's get started. The last time that we met, we talked about the different types of devices that have to do with technology. One of those devices happened to be a keyboard. Here's your standard keyboard that you can plug into a desktop. Now there are many variations of a keyboard, and I want to share those variations with you. Give me a moment to share my screen with you. So like I was talking to you about it, we're actually going to cover the different types of keyboards, and then at the end of the lesson, we're going to use a keyboard to complete our assignment today. So our objective today is to demonstrate keyboarding techniques for operating the alphabetic, numeric, punctuation, and symbol keys. If you notice that I have alphabetic underlined and in bold print, that's because today we want to use those keys to type words we may already know or know how to sound out. Some of the questions you might be asking yourself today is, what keys on a keyboard am I using today? Where is the key I am using? And what is a spacebar key and how do I use that? But like I mentioned to you before, there are different types of keyboards, and because we are working from home, we all are on different types of devices. So we may not be using the exact same keyboard from home. Some of the keyboards we may be using still belong to a desktop, but instead of having the wire, it is wireless. We also might be working from an iPad keyboard that gives us a virtual keyboard. An iPad is not the only device that has a virtual keyboard. Our Amazon tablet also has a virtual keyboard. Our cell phones have a virtual keyboard. And if you like, you could take your iPad or tablet device and you can attach a hardware keyboard to your small device. And there is also a gaming keyboard. It is small in size. It has a joystick just like a remote. It has a rotary dial and keys just like a keyboard. And it is compact and small in size like our friend Plankton. So today, it doesn't matter if you're using a virtual keyboard, a wireless keyboard, a keyboard that has a wire, or even a keypad. We are going to use our keyboard today to type our short A sound words we've been learning inside first grade. So if you look at the top row, boys and girls, we have 5 words going across the top, and I'm going to read them with you. I wish you were here to read them with me. We have am, tam, bam, sam, and sat. All these words make the short A sound, as in apple. The second row is at, bat, sat, mat, tam. And our third row, at, am, bam, bat, and tab. And our last and final row has mat, max, bat, and bats. These are the short A sound words we are using today. And we are going to try to type these words out using a Notes app on a cell phone device. I'm going to share with you the Notes app off my cell phone device so I can share with you how to use a virtual keyboard. All right, you'll notice on the screen that I have my cell phone device being displayed, and the app is called Notes on my screen. I'm going to click on Notes, and this is the same way or the same app that I used to turn in the drawing you did the first day of computer class. Now, when you get into your notes in the bottom right-hand corner, there is a yellow square with a pencil. Go ahead and click on that to generate and create a new note. Notice that when I opened up a new note, I automatically got my virtual keyboard displayed. Let's talk about that virtual keyboard. Notice that all the letters on the keys are in uppercase form. That's because at the beginning of the note, and just like the beginning of a sentence, every letter should be capitalized. So they're all in uppercase form. Before we begin, let's set up our notes in order for us to turn it in through email. The first thing I would like for you to do, boys and girls, is just to type your first name only. So if your first name is Aubrey, go ahead and find the letter A and click on it. And as you notice, as you type on your virtual keyboard, the letters appear in your notes. Now look at the letters on your keys. They are no longer in uppercase form. Now they're in lowercase form. I'm going to finish typing Aubrey's name and only her first name. Now, parents, this is where I would like for you to help our students at, because there are a couple of keys that we're going to use while we type today, and not just the letter keys. So the next step we're going to do here, and ask your parents for assistance, is we're going to use the return key. The return key is on the bottom row on the very far right. Click on that return key and watch your blinking cursor jump underneath your name. Notice that the letters on your keyboards have uppercase now. We are going to type your homeroom teacher's name. Now, you do not have to type Mrs. We're just going to type her name. So if your homeroom teacher's name is Costa, type the letter C. And then once again, the keys on the keyboard go to lowercase form. I will finish typing Costa's name. So now all I've done so far is I put your first name and your teacher's homeroom's last name. Going back to that return key on the bottom right corner, click return. So we may begin using our notes app to type in our short A sound words. Now, if one of the words you're typing is am, you would click AM, the letters on the keys. But before you start typing your second word, boys and girls, you need to put spaces between your words, just like in your handwriting. Every time you write words for your teacher, you always space out the words so they don't get all bunched up together. And if you don't space them out on your keyboard or on your notes, they all get spaced together like the mess I just made. Now, if you make mistakes like Mr. Z just did, there is a back button or delete button, and it's right above the return key. It looks like a sideways pentagon with an X on the inside. If you click that back button or delete button, you can take off anything that you didn't want in your notes. Let's practice using the space really quick. I'm going to hit space bar, which is on the bottom, very bottom of your digital keyboard, your virtual keyboard, space. Click the letter A, space, the letter A, space. And that is how you use your virtual keyboard. Your task today is to try to type all the short A words that I gave you, and you'll remind. So let me back up a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and share with you those words really quick. Here's those list of words again. Am, tam, bam, sam, sat, and so on. Don't forget that between each word, you want to use the space key. That way they're not all bunched up together. Go ahead and pause the video at this time so that you can practice typing your short A words using your virtual keyboard off the Notes app. What I want to show you parents really quick is my email, because once we're done using the Notes app, we're going to email our short A sound words to Mr. Z using the email displayed, which is nolan.cepeda@sisdk12.net. Take a moment to write this down. Pause the video if needed. Now, once you're finished typing out your short A sound words, boys and girls, all we have to do now is to turn it in virtually. And the easiest way to do that using your Notes app is to look at the top right-hand corner where it says Done. Next to it are pictures. There is one with the yellow square with the arrow pointing up. That is to upload or send to someone. Well, you want to send it to Mr. Z. Click on the yellow square with the up arrow. Select Mail. And parents, you can type in my email address for your child. Once again, that was nolan.cepeda@sisdk12.net. Before we send it, we want to hit return to check everything is correct. Notice that the subject now has your student's first name. This is the reason why we typed it first. And the message, or in the notes, you should have your homeroom teacher's name on the top of the note. And then all your short A sound words listed underneath. All you have to do now is to click on the circle with the arrow pointing up, and that is to send your message. Mine is blue with the white arrow. Yours may be yellow or another color. And it's just that simple to send it to Mr. Z. Now, I understand, parents, some of us do not have access to a Notes app. If you're comfortable using a desktop system, like maybe Microsoft Word or Google Docs, you can send it to me that way as well. I strongly recommend trying to use an electronic device because this is a computer class and using tech is part of the curriculum. But if you don't have access to one, I completely understand, and they're quite expensive. So if you have your cell phone, even if it's an older model or you have an old device, please try to type it out. Even if you can't send it to me electronically, at least you have access to the virtual keyboard or some type of keyboard with a desktop computer. I do apologize for the technical difficulties we had at the beginning of class. Either way, I had fun really teaching this lesson with you guys. I hope next time we're able to do it and interact with one another. Thank you. Bye, first grade.